Okay, year five. Welcome to your rainforest lesson. Okay, so this is all about Amazon tribes. Now we know that the Amazon is a rainforest, okay, and there are people that live there. Okay, so let's have a little look. So a little recap. The Amazon rainforest is the world's largest rainforest. It spreads across parts of 9 countries in South America. Okay, so you can see it there on the map. So the untouched forest is the green bit, deforestation up to 1997 is the yellow bit, and deforestation from 1998 to 2006 is the red. So as you can see on the map, the biggest part of the Amazon rainforest is in Brazil. 62% in fact. People speak about the Amazon rainforest being the lungs of the earth. This is because 15% of the photosynthesis that happens on our planet takes place here. In photosynthesis, plants transform carbon dioxide into oxygen, which humans and animals need to breathe. How many Amazon tribes are there? So the Amazon rainforest receives its name from the Amazon River, which you can see in the picture. So we've looked at this picture before. It looks huge, doesn't it? So it is home to more than 400 tribes, also known as tribal peoples and indigenous peoples. These tribal people have always lived in the Amazon rainforest, which makes it their ancestral home. Okay, so that means they've always lived there. International law recognises the rights of tribal peoples to live in their lands. This is known as tribal peoples' land rights. Both the United Nations and other organisations that protect human rights have declared that ancestral lands belong to the tribes that live in them and need to be protected. In reality, these tribes are in danger, especially those that have had no contact with other people, known as uncontacted peoples. Okay, so what that's saying is that the government, things like that, they acknowledge that those people live there, okay, and that they have rights there. We talk about rights within our own rights, okay, well, it's the same for them. Okay, so Amazon tribes face many dangers, the most significant being colonisation and deforestation. There's that word again. So colonisation, it says when European settlers, so when European people arrived in the Americas in the 15th century, millions of indigenous people died due to diseases such as flu that the settlers brought with them. Today, colonisation comes in the form of land grabbers. These are people who settle illegally, so that means against the law, they're not allowed to do this, often by means of violence in the lands where tribal people live, bringing with them illnesses such as malaria. Deforestation. In 2001, the Amazon rainforest covered 5.4 million kilometres squared, approximately 87% of the surface it originally covered. Most of the deforestation occurred in the Brazilian forest, mainly due to cattle ranching and crop growing, which we learnt when we did the deforestation lessons. However, in areas where tribes have been able to stay in their land, deforestation has been stopped. Scientists have referred to the lands of tribal people as the most important barrier to Amazon deforestation. So barrier means it's stopping it, isn't it? So the Amazon rubber boom took place between 1879 and 1912. So the boom occurred as a result of several events. Okay, firstly, in the middle of the 19th century, Charles Goodyear discovered that cooking and treating latex from rubber trees turned it into a product that had many different uses. This was followed by the invention of tyres by John Dunlop in 1888. Finally, Henry Ford began mass production of the newly invented motor car at around the same time. These events created a pressing need for rubber. So the Henry Ford, if you know Ford cars, okay, he's the one that started introducing them. Okay, and when it says a boom, it means that there's been more of it. Okay. When it became known the rubber tree grew abundantly in the Amazon rainforest, thousands of fortune seekers, people that want money, rushed into the lands of the Amazon tribes. However, they needed workers to collect the latex. Tens of thousands of members of the Amazon tribes were enslaved, and those who escaped were victims of the epidemics that the fortune seekers brought with them. Okay, so if they're enslaved, they're being forced to work against their will. They don't want to do that. Okay, so that's not very good, is it? So the fortune seekers, people that just want money. So the Yanomami are considered the largest isolated tribe in South America. Their population is approximately 35,000. They live in the northern Brazil and southern Venezuela in communal circular homes known as llanos or chabonos. You'll have to excuse my pronunciation of some of these, okay? Doing my best. The llano has a big central space for celebrations, and the Yanomami sleep in the hammocks made from cotton or palm fibre hung from the roofed area of the llano. Okay? So, that almost sounds a bit like what we looked at with the Anglo-Saxons. They always have a nice big central space. One of the greatest threats to their survival is a road that was built in the 1970s. This was used during a gold rush, which means they found lots of gold, in the 1980s, where 40,000 gold miners invaded the Yanomami land after a survey project detected mineral deposits in the area. The gold prospectors brought diseases to the area to which the Yanomami had no immunity. In only 7 years, 20% of the Yanomami had died. Oh, isn't that sad? Before colonization, the Tupi were one of the most numerous tribes indigenous to Brazil. It is estimated that in the 1500s, when the Portuguese arrived in Brazil, their population was around 1 million, nearly the same as the population in Portugal at that time. However, they were enslaved or killed by diseases transmitted by the Portuguese, and later Brazilian settlers, having never been exposed to diseases. The Tupi had no immunity to them. One of these diseases was smallpox. Today, they are one of the few remaining communities who have had their land rights recognised in the Brazilian state of Bahia. Oh, it's testing me here. The Carioca, I'll try that again. The Carioca live in a vast area that spreads across the Brazilian states of Pará and Mato Grosso. They live along Xingu River. They use intricate black body paint to cover their entire bodies, which allows them to blend into their surroundings when hunting in the forests. It is estimated that they number around 9,000. The main threat to their survival comes from the hydroelectric dams that the Brazilian government have begun to build along the river. The biggest of these is the Belo Monte Dam, which is the 4th largest in the world. The Awa live in the eastern Amazon rainforest. There are approximately 350 members, 100 of which are uncontacted. That means they've never met anybody else. Although they originally lived in settlements, they adapted a nomadic hunter-gatherer lifestyle around 1800 to escape from European invaders. Having had so little contact, or none in the case of their uncontacted members, with the outside world, they are especially vulnerable to diseases. Illegal logging companies have been accused of hiring gunmen to kill them so that they can exploit their rainforest. Oh, that's dreadful. As the tribe use bows and arrows to hunt, they cannot defend themselves against firearms. Okay, the Corubo are one of the tribes living in the Javari Valley indigenous territory in the western Brazilian Amazon. Their main threat comes from the outbreaks of diseases. Are you seeing a pattern here? A lot of these tribes have not gotten immunity to some of the diseases like flus and things that we have. Okay, so particular hepatitis B and C that have taken place as the tribe was contacted in the 1990s. The majority of the Corubo are uncontacted. After various attempts, the Brazilian government's protection agency for indigenous people contacted a small group of them to provide protection in the form of vaccines. Okay. In recent years, scientists have discovered that the lands of tribal peoples act as barriers to deforestation. We looked at this a little bit before. Using satellite images, researchers have observed indigenous reserves in Brazil. These are lands that have been protected by the government so that illegal loggers and land grabbers cannot enter them. They found that deforestation was 66% higher outside indigenous reserves than inside, while forest fires were considerably higher outside the reserves. So what they're saying is they can't go into their areas. This shows that Amazon tribes have a truly respectful and environmentally friendly lifestyle and that we can consider them guardians of the rainforest. Okay, so what you are going to do is you have in your pack 2 sheets that say Rainforest Tribe Fact File. So what I want you to do is, I'm going to very slowly go back through these, okay, where I want you to take as much information down as you can and look at the images, because one thing you have to put down is the name of the tribe, the location, estimated population, so that's how many there are, the food that they eat, so you may have to do some really safe internet research for this, the houses they live in, the threats they face, and any other interesting facts you might think is worth putting on there. You have to colour in the map to show where the tribe lives. Okay? Clothing, draw a picture of what kind of clothing they wear, and sketch of a traditional dress. Okay? So it might be that in the first bit, the clothing box, that you just bullet point what they wear, and then a sketch of what they wear. Okay? And you've got to pick 2 tribes for that one. Okay? So, like I said, I'm going to very slowly now leave down screen, so then you are able to pause this video in order to take down some of the facts. If you need to do some research, please, please, please make sure you do that safely. And if you're unsure, ask an adult, okay? Because we know we're asking to use the internet quite a bit, but we need to remember to be safe whilst we do so. All right. So, keep skipping it too soon. So please take note of them all. Choose which one you find the most interesting. Choose 2 that you find the most interesting. So then you can take all the facts, okay? Because when we come back to school, we're having another little look at this just to see how we got on, okay? But yes, it's worth noting that these people are the guardians of the rainforest. They are helping our deforestation problem, which is really, really useful, isn't it? I think you'll agree. As always, if you need me for anything, please just let me know and I'm happy to help.